Like, we started selling this product out of the trunk of our cars.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Inventory management is about balance.
Get the product out. That's number one.
I've always preached sustainable growth.
So we just started building community.
Look at the data.
Product development is everything.
Yeah, we say we're a brick, click, and pop.
But you have to love what you do.
For now, we have one final presenter. So we're at the end of our meetup here. So thank you for sticking with us. So our final presenter is Simon Trafford. Simon is the managing partner and director of strategy here at Social Lite. So Simon has worked on dozens and dozens and dozens of Shopify sites. He's worked on so many different strategies for clients. He's worked with a ton of different e-commerce clients. So he really knows his stuff. And I've worked with him for 5 years now, and I always go, Simon's one of the first people I go to for advice. So Simon, I'm going to give you the mic here.
All right, awesome. You can hear me?
I can hear you. Take it away.
Excellent. Thanks, Ivana. And yeah, thank all the presenters and panelists today. This has been an amazing day. It's been a long one. And I want to kind of bring it home with some nice big takeaways that you guys can kind of use today, if not tomorrow, and have some good actionable results immediately through all this crazy stuff that's happening. And let me just get my presentation up here. Yeah, so I mean, like, working with, dozens of merchants and store owners right now that are working in e-commerce has been amazing for the last few weeks, if not months. I come from a bit of a different perspective in that not only am I working on e-commerce stores, I'm also having to run an agency. And a lot of times I feel like, I'm on the front lines, and I'm on the front lines with you guys. And this is me at like 7 p.m. when it's like, oh God, what else is going to happen today? We've taken, I want to be very honest with everyone that we've taken for sure a beating from the agency side. We have a lot of legacy clients that were not in the e-commerce game, more so like some B2B stuff. And where we're from in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada here, the main industry is oil. And when I can buy a cup of coffee for the same price as a barrel of oil, like, things got ugly quick. And I can tell you that very much so, we took a nice big beating in February, and there was 1 week in March where I think we lost like at least 5 to 10 clients in one 72-hour stretch. And it was just like, how are we going to get through this? But what I can confidently tell you is that, we're in the right place. And I think what's going to happen after all said and done here is that we're all going to be stronger for it. And as an agency owner that, we've shifted into e-commerce a few years ago now, and had those kind of older clients still hanging around because they loved what we do, we can now focus even more on the strategies and on the things that matter to us and the things that we love, which is e-commerce. To kind of call back onto what Scott was saying earlier, one of his big points was communication is everything. And this is my calendar last week, where it's just basically all I'm doing is communicating with clients and team members. And you know what? We have an awesome office that we spend a whole bunch of thousands of dollars on every month, and like, having to work from home here, it's not the worst. I got dressed up today, put the old pajama pants away, and actually went and opted for my track pants. So that was great. Sorry, I'm just getting the chat here. Good stuff. That's not directed at me. I'm just, you're paranoid that things are not working and nobody can hear me because I'm just staring at a screen and my calendar. To plow ahead though, like, communication is everything. And I feel like, the worst, or, the irony here is that when you're having to over communicate and it's people leaving, you're having to work extra hard just to have people leave you. And I have a friend in the travel industry, and that was the case for her. It's like, hey, we need you, but we're losing all kinds of money, but we need you more, and we're going to push you as hard as we can until we have to lay you off. I'm like, oh God, nightmare. Anyway, we're all here and we're seeing some massive successes. We've had some huge wins, and things are just getting better and better for us. And I wanted to share a few of those successes with you guys and hopefully offer some strategies as to how to kind of do what we're doing that's working, and let you also know that you're not in this alone. We're here together. So of course, we're going to always visit the customer value journey, and I'm just going to show this once here just to make sure everybody has that in their mind. But today we're going to talk about some conversion strategies. We're going to talk about some subscription strategies. We're going to talk about some ascension, and we're going to talk about some crazy ad stuff that's hit us that we've kind of been working on for the last couple of months. Had some nice sessions with some experts that we've been developing this cool new Facebook strategy that'll guaranteed blow your minds. Let's hop right in though. So the first one is our conversion strategy, and this one I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. It is a gift with purchase. That is all we did with this one, and we started it in I think like late January, and we sold out of our gift with purchase by like end of February for sure. And that was COVID related. We couldn't get any more of our little gifts from China. But again, going back to inventory boss, like if we would have seen that coming, we would have been ready for it and we could have predicted it. But anyway, we went back to the drawing board, and we're about to launch a new, awesome, even better strategy of products that we have tons of inventory for. And I guess everyone in the US next week is getting $1,200 checks. So I'm guaranteeing that we're going to see a massive uptick in, people that can buy some consumer goods. The thing about this brand, it's Hellbent Crew, and they're awesome. They're out of Texas there. And these numbers look crazy, right? Like we increased revenue by like over 1,000%, conversion rate by 30%. These are all great. And I don't want to say that that was just because of this little gift with purchase that we added. This was an example of a brand that has like incredible presence, incredible voice. They know who they're talking to, and they're not afraid to talk to them. And I think that was one of the biggest takeaways you can have about this little case study here, is that like, if you know your customer, speak to them in the way you would speak to them authentically, and you can do so much more than just trying to reach mass or trying to appeal to everyone, or trying to like water down your language because you're afraid someone might be offended or what this and that. It's almost, in this case especially, polarization works massively in our favor. So they started out with an awesome brand, and we put some money into it, had a great little offer, and we just saw some incredible results. And this was all like, this was when the COVID scare was beginning, and right into the point where they had to actually shut down their online store shut down their brick and mortar store and only do online. So kind of when we started here in January, not running, and this is a blended revenue we're looking at here. So this is both online store and in-store. But the thing is that in-store kind of had to die off completely halfway through February when they had to close their doors. But yeah, so we crushed it on this little guy with some good, well-placed ads and a good little offer. And that offer was, get this free custom lapel pin that's limited edition. You get one per order, and you get a pin with every order, and you can't order a bunch or you'll be a scoundrel. There's an example of kind of the language they use. And this right here is a Privy pop-up. So big shout outs to Marco for being here today. And just Privy, we've been using them for, since 2014, but it wasn't until like the last 6 months or so that we actually kind of started taking them seriously. But one of the first Shopify stores I ever built, we used Privy on. And then here we're back and we're like, we're partners. We were using you on like tons of stores. But what I want to get across here is that here's the pop-up, and what made this offer special more so than just the coolness of the pin and that it's limited edition and that there's going to be, you can't get it, you can't buy it any other way. You have to make an order. You have to buy a shirt. You have to buy, hard parts or like a helmet or something is the only way you can get this pin. So that made it special. But what I want to show you too is kind of the structure of the offer that we put together, that as you'll find out when you start launching offers like this, is you got to cater to the lowest common denominator. People, you can't show them something once and expect them to figure it out and know it and like memorize the coupon code or whatever and just seamlessly go through the whole process. You have to really, really hold their hand. So Privy has some cool functions where you can actually just add to cart. Click the button on the pop-up and the pin goes in your cart. You don't have to see anything, it's just there, right? So that was super awesome to use. People can figure out no problem. But in the case where, okay, so the behavior of this as well is as soon as anyone adds anything to their cart, this pops up. So it's not like it comes, it's not like it's as soon as they land on the home page or as soon as they land on a product page, they have to add something to their cart for it to pop up. And then you just click that or tap that and it's in your cart as well. What we also did is say with the same kind of functionality is that pop-up comes up. We also are going to display this announcement bar on the bottom. So it's like, okay, even if they close the pop-up, this is going to follow them around unobtrusively for the rest of their journey with you. And that works really great. But what this does is it actually takes you to the product page where I just wanted to show you this because it's funny and I hope no one's offended. But our limited edition lapel pins are perfect for your jacket, vest, or to grease up and stick directly into your titty. It's just funny. You can have fun. People love this stuff. They went crazy for it and people were making orders, multiple orders just to get more pins for more jackets and vests and whatever. I don't know if titty is a swear word, but maybe we'll get away with it. Okay, cool. So that's one. And you look at the results and it just kind of was awesome. It was a great thing to launch a new campaign with, a new store completely. Gift with purchase, nothing to it, right? I guess the last big thing to mention about that is the best gifts with purchase cost you very little, but have massive value to the consumer, right? So the value in this is that it's, we put a $10 price tag on it. It's pretty legit, but like limited edition, it's only going to be around for a little while. You can only get it this certain way and it cost us like a few cents per pin. So incredibly valuable. Next, let's talk about email and give big shout outs to Klaviyo. Again, we've been using them forever. Haven't been pronouncing their name correctly for that long, but we're doing good now. And we use Klaviyo on every account we run. We use Privy on every account we run. And as always, we're trying to get at least 20% of our revenue to come from our email efforts. That's between both flows and campaign emails. Over a quarter of sales, every single email sent out generates sales. The rule of thumb we use in terms of flows, and if we think we're being too spammy, my clients always are afraid of that. I'm always like, no more, send more. The only way we stop sending emails is when they stop generating sales. So if that flow reaches like 12 emails within, like a few weeks and they're still all making good sales, we're going to keep doing it and we're going to probably add more. But the money is in the list. Before I talk about some more mind-blowing stuff, I just want to mention something about another client of ours that isn't doing so well. They are e-commerce and they aren't doing so well during this COVID time. And the reason is simple, and it's because they're selling like eyelash stuff to lash artists. So this is an industry where, it's awesome in good times. They can sell all kinds of stuff to these lash artists that work out of their home. But unfortunately, those lash artists can't be doing lashes for people right now in the same room with them. It just is the opposite of social distancing. But what they did is these girls got to work right away and they built out a full 40-minute online marketing webinar for their cold audience for their existing audience. So people are opting into this webinar about what to do during this time when you can't have customers and you can't do anything. And it's awesome. It's kind of like inception of strategy here, because it's all about marketing, and it's all about doing the things that you didn't have time to before now, while things are either quiet for you or you're like, having the time to regroup. So a lot of our clients have day jobs, and they run their online stores kind of evenings and weekends and get it done that way. Now is the time to get cool stuff done that you couldn't have done before because you either didn't have time or you didn't have the quiet and solitude to sit down and focus. So that's, first of all, what these guys did. And second of all, the message they were giving was to these lash artists, now is the time to get that shit done. And they did. We got a bunch. This only been up for a little while, but they have a whole bunch of opt-ins, and all those people are, like, not all of them, but a whole bunch of them will probably be their customers in the future. And the lifetime value of a B2B lash customer is massive, because they're ordering product at least once a month, and the average order values are like $500. So really good stuff there. And they're going to be, when all this blows over, they're going to be ready and coming back swinging. What we did with another client of mine that I can't name this time, but is we're doing the same thing. We're saying, okay, honestly, these guys are not slowing down. In fact, we're doing better than we ever have, but we do have more time. We have more time to do stuff. And what we did is we started experimenting with some new tools. So I want to give a big shout out to someone who's not our sponsor, and someone who I've just begun working with, and that is the platform glue.io. And what we want to talk about is lapse point right now, and figuring out what your lapse point is. And I will describe to you what lapse point is right now. So what it is here's an example of, a lapse point. It shows it up here. So what it is the amount of time that you have to upsell your customer before they disappear forever, right? So in this case here, we're looking at a 28-day lapse point. And what that means is, if we let our customers go away and not come back and buy something for 28 days, they are gone forever. So then we're like, okay, that becomes, and so we have at risk, and that would be within the 7 days before the lapse point. So we have a whole bunch of lost customers that went, bought our stuff, probably used it, maybe enjoyed it, didn't rebuy right away, and then forgot all about it. Right. So then we're like, okay, let's come up with strategies as to how to make sure they come back within that 28 days. Now, the irony here is that with something like a consumable good, like we're talking about here, it sometimes takes up to 90 days to actually use the product. But if they wait that 90 days, the chances of them buying from us is very little. So what can we do within that first 28 days to upsell them something else and get them that extra excitement in them? So that's what we did, is we sat back and came up with an amazing email workflow. And I'm going to give all the credit to my colleague Courtney here, who's running this account and labored over these emails and put that all together. But how do you calculate it? So you have to take customers that have purchased from you more than once. It's the only way it works. And then you just figure out what is the average distance between each of those purchases. And that is your lapse point. It doesn't work if they've only purchased once, because then they haven't purchased again and there's no other data point. The beautiful thing about Glue is it calculates it for you. Now, this platform, I'm definitely not trying to be a huckster here. It's a pretty pricey platform, might not be for everyone, but just a really cool metric to look at and to start planning your email workflows around, because getting those people to come back, not only is it free, it's much more valuable in the long term. So this is kind of what this flow looked like. We wait a few days, send them all these tips on how to use the product. You get to use the product. And then if they haven't purchased again within that 20, or it should be about 21 days, that's kind of the at-risk zone. We want to hit them hard with sales stuff there and give them offers and make them buy again. Now, it's too early for us to really see any super good results from that, but I think it's something valuable for you guys to look at, and I will absolutely report back on how that goes. And we're going to be deploying that kind of strategy on hopefully every single one of my clients in the next month or so. All right, final segment. I'm about 20 minutes in, so that's good. Thank you all for sticking around this long, by the way. This is an epically long webinar. I don't know like what the average attention span is for like Zoom meetings, but someone told me yesterday it was like 30 minutes. So this is legendary. This is a strategy that we've been developing though for advertising on Facebook, and we've been calling it 30D. And my colleague Ian has been kind of spearheading this. We've deployed it on 14 accounts now, and it is mind-meltingly crazy, and you guys are gonna probably think that it is insane, but I'm gonna tell you about it anyways, and I'm gonna show you that it works. And what we can do with this is within 3 days, we can validate your business completely, either validate it or know exactly what we need to do in order to bring it to a scalable level. All right, and what that means is scalable. Like we want to be able to go from, this is breaking through that next plateau of business. This is what this strategy does, where, just talking to a client this morning, he's kind of been stuck around that 30K a month area for like literally a year. And it's just like, well, how do you do more? I want to spend more, but I can't because my ROAS will dip down, and, it's kind of just stuck there. And it's like a video game, right? It's kind of, the first level you get to like 5K a month and it's not that hard, but then how do you get to that 10K? And then from that 10K it becomes much more difficult to get to that 30K. And then breaking through that ceiling and beating that boss is even harder. So this is a good strategy for if you're hitting one of those plateaus and you're like, how do I step it up one more notch and get to a point where like, there's no limit to this strategy, but let's talk more about it. So here's an example of one crushing it right through March of this year, right? So hovering around like the 3K mark for like 2 years, and then Scale City, best month of all time was in March of this year, which is, I never thought I'd be able to say that. And I'm just stoked to see everyone talking today about how, yeah, sales aren't down anywhere. I'm like, oh, good. I thought I was special, but I guess not. So what this is we want to find, this is a customer acquisition strategy. So we're hitting a cold audience. What we do is we create 5 amazing ads, the best ads we possibly can. We're probably going to use 1 or 2 of the previously existing ads that are crushing. So if you have ones that are already doing really good, we're going to put those into the test as well. The crazy part is that we're not targeting any audiences, not a single thing besides age 18 and up. If we have to, if it's a female hygiene product, we're gonna include men into this. And the reason for that is because what we're doing is kind of flipping the whole classic Facebook idea onto its head, where in the past it's like, well, what do you know about your customer? You can reach them by saying that this is what they're interested in, or this is their gender, or this is where they are. Exactly. And it's, that's intuitively makes perfect sense. But what this new strategy does that we're working with is it puts the work on the Facebook algorithm to find our audience for us, right? So these 5 ads duplicated 30 times. These are ads, 1 ad set and 1 ad, 150 of them. So each one of those ad sets is hitting a different pocket of audience, right? It's not just going to go to like, the same kind of 30 million people or whatever. It's going to go, and that would be Canada, or if it's North America, like 400 million people, but it's going to hit little pockets, and there's data in Facebook loaded already that it's going to tell us, it's going to know things. Okay, so then what you do though is you don't just sit there and say, okay, I got to wait for Facebook's learning period to expire, which can take like a week or 2 weeks or whatever. No, we're going to start looking at this immediately. Within like 3 hours, we're going to start turning off ads, turning off ones that aren't performing, turning off ones that have like a low click-through rate or a high cost per click. You start looking at a whole bunch of different data points as to what makes it not performing, and you just kill them immediately. And basically what you're left with after 3 or 4 days, is about 10 to 30 of those ads. You're going to know which one of the 5 is performing best, but you're also going to have a few of like, a few ones that are also, you're going to be left with basically 10 to 30 ad sets that are crushing it in terms of sales and ROAS. And from there is when we can scale. Two very important points actually on this thing is that your retargeting will still work amazingly, if not better. And your emails will also be supercharged. So once you make like your pre-purchase, post-purchase, abandoned cart emails will also be supercharged in terms of what they're doing. Okay, and kind of just back to that point before about now being the time to try things, now being the time to build things. And I'm sure everybody has also been talking about this, that the ad spend is like massively down when it comes to, airlines, all these big travel companies, all these B2B guys that usually are notorious for dumping tons of money into Facebook. They're pulling out. I just Googled this. I don't even know what Barron's.com is, but they're expected to be down 33% from March to June this year in terms of digital ad spend. So now is the time to take advantage of likely what would be lower CPM for at least a few months. And like, this is the kind of experiment that for, like I said, $1,000, you can know if you're ready to just crank up the scale. You can find that audience, you can start duplicating and start scaling like crazy. So here's an example of one ads manager where we did this on, and this is lifetime. So this is one where we had a whole lot of trouble getting anything above a 1 ROAS. Like, I don't know if that's like something not to brag about, but so we ended up running lifetime 320 ad sets. And then for a lifetime of the ones that we were left with, 31 of them, our average was 3.55. And as of now, we're doubling down on the ones that are doing really good. We're duplicating those more, we're adding ad spend. And this is a beautifully consistent ROAS that's nice and profitable for our clients, this particular client. I know you're probably gonna be like, what the hell? But and like, I want more, and we're more than happy to chat about this with you. Like, I wish I could go into like way more detail and way more everything, and show you actual physical examples, but not only is there not enough time, it's just a very complex thing that it almost needs like to look at your own setups for us to really, really dive into. But if you have any questions, I guess hit up the group or hit us up right here. Where does that leave us, Scott? I think he's gonna come back on here.
I'm back.
All right. Yeah, thanks guys. Hope that was helpful.
Yeah, good job, Simon. I mean, like, yeah, I think you, it's true. I think like when I was talking during my presentation, when the NBA canceled its season, that's when everybody panicked. That's when a week later in Canada, schools were shut down. That's when all of our B2B, like legacy B2B clients, in these day and age, we don't take on new B2B clients, but we just have old B2B clients that have been with us for many, many years, and we just can't get rid of them because we love them, they love us, and we're doing good work for them. But they were the first people to be like, Social Lite, you guys are the best. We got to pause, we'll be back. And that just opened up our focus to not only, like, we 70-80% of our clients were e-commerce. Now it's like 98.5% are e-commerce. And we've been working with a lot of new great businesses as well. So I think as a reminder, everybody, we started this Merchant Mastery Facebook group maybe 6 months ago. We loosely used it. We were using it just to communicate with people through our Shopify meetups. Now we are tripling down. We want it to be a resource for people to join and enter the conversation. If this is the best way we can help you, that is great. Just come on in. We're going to do a live Q&A. We're going to be joined by other Shopify merchants. We're going to be running panels. We're going to be pretty much keeping a pulse on what's happening with the best apps. We're going to be getting the most information and putting it all in this place. So I encourage you to join there today. Yeah, but Ian's in there right now. Our advertising director is in there right now. You want to talk about 30D? He's the guy who will talk about 30D with you right now. He kind of helped us invent that product. So go in there right now. He's there. Next slide, Simon. Yeah, and then next of all, if you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I want to do the 30D, we actually splintered off this 30D campaign as its own product. So if this was something that you wanted to try, there's no email campaigns. It's more like 30 days of 30 duplicate ads. This has been the #1 strategy that's working the most for our clients. You can hop on a call with us. Just go to this URL here, socialite.ca/Shopify-strategy-call. We'll also be emailing it out. If you want to hop on there, we'll be happy to look deeper into your business and talk about how that 30-day campaign would work. And the last one here that I will mention, I know I mentioned this earlier, if you are not on Shopify, we're getting people from all around the world. We're helping a business in Ireland set up their store. We're talking to businesses all across North America. And if you're not on Shopify and you're a retailer, this is a good time. We also have an 8-hour store setup program. So let's jump into the Q&A. I see somebody just asked, will this recording be available online? Absolutely. We recorded this a whole day. We're going to email that link out to everybody as well. We're going to be sharing it everywhere. We're going to be probably editing it up and sharing different snippets and each person's different presentations. I'm going to jump into some more questions here. So we got one from Recycle to Riches. And this person says, I don't have a name, but they say, I am doing a gift with purchase on Recycle to Riches. The gift with purchase is a personal protective mask. Do you think this is okay to do? And my answer is a big no.
The Subway example, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that up. I hope you didn't launch that offer yet. But earlier I was talking about 6 things you can do to get your e-commerce business through a pandemic. One of them was to not be tone deaf. So you don't want to gate something that's going to help someone's well-being and their health. If you want to give away free masks, I would encourage that. Like, you're going to build a lot more friends by just giving away masks instead of saying you need to buy to get one. So this is definitely a big no-no. I'm all for giving it away, absolutely, but I wouldn't try and, it's not a good marketing move. It's not, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's just tasteful. That is the word. That is the word. See, Sam and I, we finish each other's
sandwiches.
Yeah, that is the word I was looking for. Tasteful. It's not tasteful to gate something that's going to help with your health right now. So I would definitely say that's a big no-no. All right, I'm looking back in here for some more questions. Here's one. Somebody said, it's a general question on Shopify. This is Andre Mercator. General question on Shopify. What turnarounds can you suggest if we cannot connect our POS systems with Shopify? Problem is here, the real-time view of inventory movement from our brick and mortar stores with the available inventory in our online shop. We put an inventory question and we don't have our inventory boss.
What turner? Just say it again, the beginning there.
Yeah, let's see if you can get this one, Simon. General question on Shopify. What turnarounds can you suggest if we cannot connect the POS system with Shopify? Problem here is the real-time view of inventory movement from brick and mortar to the available inventory in our online shop. And I know that's something you've dealt with quite a few times.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always messy and can get expensive if you don't have that. But I know that there are custom ERP integrations that you can do. It would help to know which inventory management system you're using on your brick and mortar, because those can sometimes have integrations. For example, we've done one with Springboard. It wasn't the greatest. It didn't, and it kind of like it has a lag in terms of what it dumps. But in terms of a Band-Aid fix, it's, make sure you're just updating every day for sure, if not multiple times a day. And you can likely, I don't want to say absolutely, but you can likely download an export your inventory list and have it in a format that can import perfectly into Shopify as a spreadsheet or a CSV.
Okay, we got another question for Simon. That's a good response to that one. Simon, for the 30 duplicates of the 5 different ad sets, this is from Josh Cox. For the 30 duplicates of the 5 different ad sets, are they each using different copy or complete duplicates?
So you're making 5 different ads. That's it. 5 different ads with different images and different copy. Each one of those is different. And then you take one and duplicate that 30 times. Exact duplicate on the ad set level. And you do that with all 5 ads that you created. So at the end of the day, you have 150 ads, but each set of 30 is exactly the same.
That answer your question, Josh? I think so. But it's exactly it. Like what you want to do is you want to test different copy, different images. And once you figure out which one of those is performing the best, then you duplicate those identically.
Yeah, and maybe I'll add here too, I should have probably said this at the beginning, but what you end up with is you either know if your click-through rate is really good and you're still not making sales, that means your offer or your landing page needs work. If you're not getting any clicks at all and you're not getting any good data on the click side of things, that means your ads need work. So then you start feathering in more ads. There's never you never want to just like run it and say, oh, that didn't work. Just try more ads, right? That people will engage with.
Yeah, and Josh, if you want to go in that merchant mastery Facebook group, we can keep this discussion going for a week or 2 weeks. We're honestly have our full staff. There's 12 of us working full time right now. We work with lots of contractors around the globe too, but there's our core team. The 12 of us are going to be in there answering questions every day. We are working overtime. This is kind of the e-commerce time to shine, and we are here to help.
Absolutely.
All right, Josh. Yeah, Josh said thank you for that. You bet. Okay, I think I'm looking. Oh, there, I see another question. This is from Michael Lotz. What are good, all caps, power words, lower caps, for engagement?
Honestly,
what
yeah.
are good power words for engagement?
Power. I don't know. What do you think, Scott? You're a great copywriter.
Yeah, when it comes to copy, it's not about power. It's about resonating with your customers' deep pain and passion points. So if you want engagement, understand what keeps your customer up at night, or understand what they aspire to become. So how can your product get them from a miserable state to an aspirational state? And you want to hit it on the bullseye with those pain and passion points. And when you do, your customer and your audience are going to listen.
Awesome. Absolutely.
And I think that's actually a really key part about that 30D. When you write that ad copy, it's not about power words. It's about hitting it home with those deep pain and passion points. And often the best way to find those is if you look at your products and you look at your product reviews, go and look at customer testimonials, see what they like, really hyper engaged responses, see what people are saying. The reviews that are like a sentence long, they may not give you that much value, but when someone writes a paragraph or 2 paragraphs, dive into those and look for what real pain you're solving and use that in your ads. All right, we got Ivory Teeth Whitening. Looks like you're in Edmonton because you said way to represent YG. Way to represent YG. Awesome. Great group here in our own city that I don't know about. Thanks, everyone. No, thank you for joining. And it's been truly a global experience today. We had speakers from Budapest and Boston and Idaho and Seattle and here in Edmonton. Am I missing anyone? Oh, outside of Seattle as well. The Lynch Creek Farm people are also in Washington State. I think that's what it's all about, is building a community of people who are in the thick of it in this industry. And we will always stay connected with those people and bring the best updates that we can. Oh, and NYC, Patrick Hall from NYC. Anybody else want to pop in? Oh, hi from Toronto. Michael Lotz is in Toronto. Patrick Hall's in NYC. Anyone else want to plug where they're joining us from? Angela Hawkins is in Atlanta. Excellent. Simon was just in Atlanta for a wedding last summer.
It was. There's an Aussies in here too.
We got Josh Cox from Australia. We got Melissa Colborn from YEG, that's Edmonton. Trisha McCown from Moose Jaw. Carlin T, Ohio. Pariza, Dubai. Ayaz is Calgary. Michael Lotz has a site there. You can go check it out. Lena is calling from Estonia. I thought is that in Finland? Oh, it's hi. Okay, we got Kimmy, hi from Finland. Representing my father's work. That's Michael Lotz. Joshua, San Jose, California. Chris is from California. Olaf from Florida. Shemaine, Kent Cochran. I am Generation Me in Los Angeles. Leo's in Norway. Jagger Glowowski's in Edmonton, Vegerville, the RV parts guys.
Wow. Oh yeah, there they are.
I remember meeting these. Yeah, we got some more Edmonton.
A couple more Yags.
Excellent, everybody. There's 100 of us who stayed till the end. Thank you so much. I know we started with like a few hundred and we just kind of had people coming and going, but to everybody that's still here, thank you so much for attending. Thank you to all the speakers again, if you're watching still. I see that a couple of our panelists are still in here. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll be in touch. We're going to send you an email, invite you to that Facebook group, and answer your questions continually. I'm going to pass it off just to Ivana, who hosted this whole thing, and she'll say goodbye. But Simon and I are out of here, and stay safe, everybody. Thanks Lena.
Guys.
Thanks, Lena. Yeah, thank you, Lena. Thanks for the compliment. Shopify LA Growth Lab. All right. See you guys.
Yeah, I'm just going to wrap this up. Again, echoing what Scott said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really pleasantly surprised to see all the different countries that people are tuning in from. If you guys have any questions, like the guy said, just join the Merchant Mastery group, send us those questions in there, send me an email. I know I've been sending you guys a ton of emails. Again, thank you so much. This really means a lot to us. This was the first virtual meetup we ever hosted, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you very much, and we'll stay in touch. Bye, everyone.